Alright guys, so I want to go ahead and talk about natural disasters now. Mostly thunderstorms, lightning, and tornadoes. Some of the things that you should learn in this unit, you're going to know why disasters are hard to predict, how humans are impacted by natural disasters, and how can man prepare for these disasters. Our focus will be on mainly thunderstorms, lightning storms, and tornadoes, mainly because that's what we see here. Uh, there we go. On these forms of storms, of course, you see a thunderhead with good lightning storms. You're probably familiar with this. You've seen these big thunderheads, these big cumulonimbus clouds. You see how tall they are, and they have a big anvil head on top of them if you look at them from a distance. The formation is cumulonimbus. Thunderstorms are created by large sections of warm, moist air that raise into the cool, dry air. A cold front or convection in the atmosphere typically causes a warm front to happen. And then, of course, the water vapor condenses and becomes heavy. It can't stand the cloud and it falls. All thunderstorms have three stages, and these are the big things that I want you to know. They have the cumulus stage, the mature stage, and the dissipation stage. All right, so the cumulus stage. This is just really where there's no lightning, and there's really no tornadoes that ever form here. This is very early on. The heat from condensing water vapor, so water coming up off of the ground, forms up into these big clouds and expands up into the rising air. The upward air moving in the stage approaches speeds of 160 kilometers per hour, so they can be very fast, very high winds in these storms. If you've been out here, you've seen how those come across the plains, and we get a lot of wind coming in as they roll in. What it ends up creating is this big towering stage where they get very tall, up to 2,000 kilometers, so the clouds can really build up there. During the mature stage, which after that stage follows on, as the warm air rises, the water vapor cools, because of course the atmosphere is cooler as the higher it goes. That water vapor condenses, and then it gets released, and the clouds comes into these huge heavy rains. The falling rain pushes and pulls the air downward, and the storm develops regions of fast-moving downdrafts. When we had the floods here in 2013, a lot of this is what happened. They came in and they just sat, and they just poured and poured the rain. Simultaneously raising warm air and falling colder air raises, and of course electricity can be generated through this stage. You see the storms can become very hard in the mature stage. Get the air that goes to rise up, and as it gets real warm air gets hot and rises, it cools off, and that vapor pre-condenses and it drops these big heavy rainstorms. The mature thunderstorms, they can be very large thunderstorms. They produce precipitation. This precipitation can be in the form of hailstones, large grapefruit size. They can be huge. I mean, those things could kill you. And they generate a tremendous power, electricity inside them. We'll talk about those in the lightning storms, but I'm sure you've heard them. With the big thunder and the lightning as they come through. And they produce tornadoes as well. So a mature thunderstorm produces both of the other two things that we'll look at in this unit. And then, of course, the dissipating stage. This is after the downburst, and the high winds can also still occur in this area. And all the air within the storm become cooler, and the air outside of the storm. So if you've ever been outside after a big rainstorm and it's been a hot day and it gets kind of cold, this is usually the dissipating stage you're feeling. And if deprived of energy, which is the warm air and cool, moist air, then the storm splits into a series of disorganized layers of clouds, and they just kind of dissipate apart, as long as they're deprived of energy. And the storm is finished at that point. All right, and you're checking for understand. What I want you to do is I want you to listen, explain the three stages of the thunderstorm. Within that, I want you to use and draw a diagram of what makes the thunderstorm more efficient and potentially very severe. You can check that in your book, and you can also check your notes. All right, talk to you later.